Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the annual meeting of Woodley Town Council, being held on the 6th of May 2025. Woodley Town Council meetings are now recorded, with recordings streamed live and stored on the Town Council YouTube channel. By virtue of attending this meeting, you consent to having your image and audio recorded for this purpose. If you do not wish your image and audio to be recorded, then please do not stay at the meeting. For those in attendance, we are not expecting a fire drill, so if you hear the fire alarm, please head to the nearest fire exit and congregate at the fire assembly point at the Oakwood Centre at the front of Woodford Park. Prior to the meetings of the council, we hold the town forum, which is an opportunity for members of the public to pose any questions they may have to the council. This is limited to 30 minutes. Do any members of the public in attendance have a question they wish to ask? No, thank you, Mr. Millard. So in the absence of that, we will commence with the agenda. So the first item of business at this meeting is to elect the town mayor for the forthcoming municipal year. Can I please ask for nominations for the position of town mayor for 25-26?
Madam Mayor, I would like to propose the current deputy mayor, David Brown.
Do we have a seconder?
Madam Mayor, I would like to second it. Will be the very fine mayor.
Thank you. Can we please move to a vote on that? All in favour, please raise your hands. $64. Is that everybody? Okay. Is anybody against that? No. Lovely. So that's lovely. Thank you. Can I please confirm that Councillor Bragg has been duly elected to the position of town mayor for 25-26 municipal year, and I will now hand over the chair to him. There you go. Yours, enjoy.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. No, that's not the speech. Right, no, thank you all so much for your confidence in appointing me Mayor of Woodley Town Council for the current year. This is an honour that I never expected or anticipated when I was first elected to this council back in 2018. And being this year is particularly important to me as we approach the 80th anniversary of VE Day, a day that is of particular importance to both my parents, who sadly are no longer with us. I've thoroughly enjoyed my period as Deputy Mayor and now look forward to the challenges and experiences of the year ahead, in which time I promise to represent you, the Town Council, the residents and all of its communities with the respect and the energy you all deserve. My chosen charity this year is Promise Inclusion. Their dedicated work is for children and adults with learning difficulties or those on the autistic spectrum, whom they aim to empower and build their self-esteem within a supportive environment. They also provide support services for siblings, children and their carers. This, I feel, is a very worthy charity, deserving of our support. Finally, I would like to thank Councillor Julia Anderson for his dedication and hard work as mayor. Working with you as your deputy Julia has been both inspirational and a pleasure. You've been a very hard act to follow. Thank you all once again, and we'll now move to the agenda.
Yes, we've had apologies from councillors Holmes, Hoskins, Lewis, Nagra, Rowland and Smith. Councillor Chadwick has advised that she will be late, and Councillor Hoskins has advised that he will be attending the meeting virtually. Councillor Holmes is attending virtually. Oh, yes, sorry.
Thank you. Sorry.
Now, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank Juliet for being a very good mayor and dealing with us unruly lot in the meeting so well. I didn't want to miss up the chance of saying thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be working with you and being part of the meeting that you're keeping after so well. Thank you.
Right. Do we have any declarations of interest? No. Right, then we move on to the election of Deputy Town Mayor for the forthcoming municipal year. Can I please ask for nominations for the position of Deputy Town Mayor for the 25-26 municipal year?
Yes, I'd like to propose Dan Smith.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that? Thank you. Do we have any other proposals? Right. Then we go to don't need a vote on that now, do we? Yes. I confirm that Councillor I promise you. Right, we'll take a vote then. Can all those in favour of Darren Smith being Deputy Mayor? Thank you. 16 for against. The next item on the agenda is to note the appointment of the leader and deputy leader of each of the political groups which make up the council for the 25-26 municipal year. For reference, these groups are currently the Conservative Group, the Labour Group and the Liberal Democrat Group. Firstly, can I please ask a member of the Conservative Group to confirm the name and leader of the deputy and deputy leader?
Mr. Mayor, God, I'm going to fall over. I'm going to call you Madam Mayor, having had 4 female mayors. It's a habit. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you. We have Councillor Bill Soane as our group leader, and we do not have a deputy group leader.
Thank you. Secondly, can I ask a member of the Labour group to confirm the leader?
We're carrying on as last year, Mr Mayor, so that will be myself as leader and Yvonne Edwards as deputy.
Finally, can I ask a member of the Liberal Democrat group? Sorry, that's you, Carol.
It is the same as last year, myself as leader and Beth as deputy leader.
Those appointments have been noted. Next, item 7, the next item on the agenda is to elect the leader and deputy leader of the council for the 25-26 municipal year. Firstly, can I ask for nominations for the position of leader of the council?
Who's Keith Baker?
Okay. Are there any other proposals?
I would like to second that nomination.
Are there any other proposals? No. Then if we can go to the vote, or please, those in favour of Keith Baker being leader of the council?
11-4,
Against,
none against,
and abstentions?
5 abstentions.
Thank you. In that case, I can confirm that Councillor Baker has been duly elected to the position of leader of the council for the 2025 municipal year. June.
Yes, just a sort of comment. In line with our community engagement policy to inform people about how policies are determined, I thought it might be helpful if in our standing orders we put a bit of a description about the role of the leader, because it's quite vague in standing orders. So I wonder if we could refer that to the standing orders committee to have a look at that, so that people outside understand what the leader's doing.
Yes.
I fully endorse that. I would actually go further because there's the role of the mayor, the role of the leader, there's the role of the party leaders as well. I think as long as you don't do 20 pages for each, but I think it would be very helpful on the basis of community engagement to actually have profiles of the key, and I'm sure Matthew will work up some text to bring into the standing orders committee. You were on it, aren't you? Yeah. Okay. So I was going to say, if you weren't,
All the nerds are on it.
Secondly, can I please ask for nominations for the position of deputy leader of the council for the 25-26 municipal year?
Propose Councillor Alison Swaddle.
Do I have a seconder for that? Yes. Do we have any other nominations? No. Then can I ask all those in favour of Alison Swaddle being elected deputy leader?
15-4,
Any against?
none against.
Anyone abstaining? In that case, I can confirm that Councillor Alison Swaddle has been duly elected to the position of deputy leader of the council for the 2026 municipal year. Now we come on to this next item on the agenda is to approve the terms of reference known as powers and duties for each of the council's standing committees and to appoint members to serve on those committees in 25-26. The powers and duties are provided in separate Appendix 8 Close to the minutes, which was included with the agenda. A table showing the current number of places and the division of these places in each standing committee is included on page 1 of the appendix. For reference, each standing committee currently has 10 members, with appointments made up of 7 Conservative group members, 2 Labour group members, and 1 Liberal Democrat group member. We are required by standing orders to approve each of the committee's powers and duties annually. If there are no changes proposed, then it would be expedient to approve them all together. Can I ask, does anyone wish to propose any changes to the powers and duties of either the Strategy and Resources, Leisure Services, or Planning and Community committees? In that case, can we please move to a vote to approve the powers and duties of the 3 standing committees? Can all those in favour please raise their hands?
16-4.
Any against? Abstention? No. Confirm that the powers and duties for the Strategy and Resources Committee, the Leisure Services Committee, and the Planning and Community Committee have been approved. We now need to know the members appointed to serve on the Strategy and Resources Committee. Before you, we have of board names. Supposedly been a lot of places by the various bodies. Do we need them read out, or are you happy to accept the list as it appears in front of you? Yeah. Thank you. Then these appointments have been noted. So that's all the committees there. So the next item on the agenda then is to approve the terms of reference for each of the council's subcommittees, task and finish working groups and partnerships, and then the appointment of members for the the terms of reference, including the proposed number of places, are included in Appendix 9, and you will see a summary table showing the current division of places on each committee on page 11 of the appendix. As a reminder, in line with Standing Orders 6.4a, 6.5a and 6.6a, only members of the respective parent committees can approve the terms of reference of the relevant subcommittee, task and finish working group or partnership. I'll ask Matthew to confirm the names of those eligible to vote on each. Please, can all councillors ensure that they do not vote where they are not eligible? Firstly, we review the committees for Strategy and Resources Committee. Matthew, can you please confirm the numbers? Oh,
I can confirm who needs that, if you wish. Who will need to be from the terms of reference eventually, so.
Yes.
So the members that have just been appointed to the Strategy and Resources Committee are councillors Anderson, Baker, Bragg, Gilder, Horskins, Kennedy, Swaddle, Bello, Nagra and Rowland. Obviously, councillors Nagra and Rowland are not in attendance tonight, and councillor Hawkins can't vote as he's attending virtually.
DD. Chairman propose.
Are you doing the same?
If you'd like to propose.
Right, okay. I would like to propose that the terms of reference and the number of places for all the A to F remain unchanged. That's my proposal. I have a seconder.
Can all those in favour please raise their hands?
Does it have to be on?
Yes,
Can all those against please raise their hands? In that case, I confirm all terms of reference for subcommittees and partnerships for whom the Strategy and Resources Committee or the Joint Committee are approved.
Yeah, just going to.
Sorry about that. Right, on second and third places, you'll see all the names that have been declared for the various subcommittees. Are you happy for us to take those names and block? Yep.
You don't vote on these are appointed.
Okay. So those as stated on that sheet. Right. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. There's so much paper here. It's very easy to lose where you've got to. Right, can we move on then? It's to vote on which member is to be this. We're going to, with the town centre partnership, there's two Conservative group members and one Labour group members. We're voting on the last vote. Can we now move to vote on which member is to be considered the main substitute? Will two members sit fully and one of the three members are named as a substitute? Naming those out. We've got Councillor Baker, Councillor Holmes and Councillor Singh. Those in favour? I'll start this again.
This will help, but last year, councillor Singh was a substitute, and we're quite comfortable with that again. Can we just do that?
Okay. So if I can put that to the vote then, all those in favour, please.
We're not allowed to vote.
So,
Yeah, let's do that again. Let's just do a show of hands to have councillor Singh as
yeah,
a substitute.
can we have a show of hands, please, for those on councillor Sarah's deputy?
Members of strategy and resources.
Mr. Mayor, can I point
Official
of
then.
clarification, if I may? The crib sheet that we've been handed implies that there are 3 members on this partnership, councillors Baker, Holmes and councillor Singh in their own right. I don't understand why we're electing him as a substitute.
Only 2 sit. Only 2 sit on the committee. One of them is a deputy. If one of the others can't make
It was the same. It was the same last year, Mike.
Can I maybe, Mike, I maybe to
Oh, I see.
it's a historical thing, and I base, I'm going to say no, based on the fact that you got confused. It's historical on the basis of when the town centre partnership was independent of the town council, and they had their own constitution. And then, because of that purposes, they were absorbed by the town council. One of the things the town council guaranteed to the town partnership is that they will still effectively work independent, and their terms of reference is actually their constitution. Okay? And in that constitution it says 2 permanent members from town council and 1 substitute. I would suggest that we pursue just changing it to 3 members. Any one of you can go. You don't have to be allocated. You've got voting rights, but we never ever vote for anything at all. So that's the backstory. But I would like to say, Mr. Chairman, that we talk to Mary Holmes as the chair and the town centre manager with a view of amending that constitution stroke terms of reference to actually just drop the substitute and just have it 3 members.
Is that explained? No. Sorry, I think someone else was had their hand up. No. Right. Next.
If everyone's happy with it staying the same way, I think we can note down in the minutes that it's happy that it will stay as the same as it was last year. That's absolutely fine.
Right. Okay. Right. Next, the leisure services. Next week, the subcommittees, task and fitness working groups, and partnerships for whom the Leisure Services Committee is the committee, set out in Appendix 9 between pages 24 and 21. Again, the Leisure Committee who can vote are shown on the front page of that sheet.
Congratulations on your appointment. No, it's just really going back to item number 1, on all committees and partnerships for or under leisure services, I propose that they should remain exactly as they are. No changes.
Okay. Right. So, yeah. So, members of the Leisure Committee, please, could you vote in favour of that?
5-4.
Any against?
None against.
Any abstentions?
No abstentions.
Right. In that case, I can confirm the terms and reference for subcommittees working in groups and partnerships within the Leisure Services Committee and the Parent Committee are approved. Next item is the Community Youth Partnership. To approve the terms of reference for the Community Youth Partnership.
We've just done that.
We've just done that.
This is point 3 of the agenda. So it's G3. Unlike all the others, they just have the terms of reference and the names. This has a sign.
One we have to do then.
Sorry, Shane, you've got to approve.
Right, okay. Furthermore, we also need to approve the appointment of the voluntary sector representatives. All existing members were written to with the following due to remain on the partnership for the 25-26 municipal year. Graham Sumbler from Woodley Baptist Church, Trina Fowles from Almost Gymnastics, Sam Milligan from just around the corner, Dylan Harlan from the First Woodley Boys Brigade, Chaz Randolph from 2nd Woodley Scouts, and Chenia Davis from the ME2 Club. Can we please move to vote to approve this appointment, these appointments?
There's less than 10.
There's less than 10, right, okay, fine. Okay, so those 2, 4, 6 are appointed to the Community Youth Partnership. I'll read out the names of the Community Youth Partnership. These Council Craig, Gilbert, Holmes, and Edwards. 3 GH Steering Group, Council Bragg, Firmager, Lewis, and Taylor. The WPAC Development Working Group, also Kennedy, Smith, and Edwards. And the Youth Support Service Working Group, Firmager, Gilbert, Kennedy, and Edwards. When we move to vote, just appointment. Right. So, move to
Now to page 31.
right. So, cycling and walk task and finish group. Next item is to approve the terms of reference for the cycling and walking task and finish working group. The only committee currently for which the Planning and Community Committee of the parent company. Parent committee. Can you confirm, Matthew, please, members of the Planning and Community Committee?
Yes, we've got councillors Baker, Bragg, Guttridge, Horskins, Lewis, Sartorial, Soane, Taylor, and councillor Jewell. There's a vacancy on the Labour group, and obviously councillors Guttridge and Lewis are not in attendance, and Councillor Hoskins is at home, so he can't vote on this either.
So, can we take a vote? Please, all those in favour of agreeing the terms of reference?
Can I just propose that the terms of reference remain the same as they were last year and there's no change?
Yeah. Can I take a vote and second it? If we can have a show of the hands of those in favour of accepting that. Any against?
Against? No abstentions.
Thank you. We need to know the members appointed to serve on the personnel subcommittee. Right. I thought that was the site we just did.
We just haven't noted the appointments.
Fine, okay. But we note the appointments there of Councillor Taylor and Councillor Jewell on the site. Working group.
There's no Conservative appointee. No Conservative appointee.
No Conservative appointee, no.
You're missing out.
I thought it was.
Can we have a show of hands of all those on the planning committee who are just appointments? As I said, it can only get better those are better. Right, so we've done the site clearance walking. Right. Right. Finally, we move on to the subcommittee and joint working party, for whom full council is the parent committee, set out in Appendix 8 between pages 34 and 38. All members are permitted to vote on these where appropriate. First is to approve the terms of reference for the annual town meeting subcommittee, which can be seen on page 34 of Appendix 8. Current number of places for members on the subcommittee. Anyone official wish to propose any changes to these terms of reference?
Is there a typo on that?
Sorry.
It says it's 2 places on here. It should be 4. Is that a typo?
Yes, on the extra sheet that came around this evening, yeah, that's on it.
That's right.
Okay. Right, so can we then move, please, to vote to approve the terms of reference? Could all those in favour please raise their hands? All those against?
None.
Those abstaining?
No.
Confirm that the terms of reference for the annual town meeting subcommittee have been approved. We now need to note the members appointed to serve on the annual town meeting subcommittee. Who are Councillor Anderson, Councillor Hawkins, Councillor Kennedy and Councillor Edwards for the Labour Group. Thank you. These appointments noted. Lastly, we need to note the terms of reference for the Bournemouth SULB Joint Subcommittee, provided on page 35 of the appendix A, as a joint subcommittee with Early Town Council. We are unable to consider proposals for the changes to these terms of references at this meeting. For reference, there are 3 places for Woodley Town Council members on this joint subcommittee, with 1 considered to be a named substitute. Does anyone have?
Chairman, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, as we did with the town centre partnership, could I ask the town clerk to talk to Early Town Council to change this also to not 2 + 1 sub, but 3. Let's remove the sub. We can't do it on our own because it's a joint committee. Could I ask them to pursue that? It would make a lot of sense.
This is our Woking Borough Council Committee that we've got places on, so.
It's not. This is something between Early Town Council.
Oh, sorry.
It only meets when it needs to.
I was thinking of Highwood.
A couple of us, Mike, on Early Town Council. You've noted Pete's comment, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah. At the moment, the councillors appointed are Councillor Wallow, Councillor Gilder and Councillor Taylor, one of whom will need at the moment be used as deputy. Substitute.
Well, thank you.
Right. Well, I think we still have to go through the.
That's absolutely fine. Yeah.
In that case, it's noted that Councillor Taylor has been appointed as the council's main substitute on this committee. Phew. Yes. That's all the appointment. Right. Agenda 10 on the item, outside bodies. The next agenda item covers the appointment of council representatives to outside bodies. Members are required to vote on the appointment of each council representative. However, to expedite proceedings in line with the process in previous years, I am proposing that we initially move through each outside body and ask for nominations. If there are more nominees than places on a particular outside body, then we take a vote on that specific appointment.
Just a point to note on the list of outside body representatives under 11.1, you'll see allotment tenants committee, which was a position suggested through leisure services. The allotment tenants committee has suggested or requested that we defer that to the next full council meeting to allow them to formally approve that at their end, that's something that they want to do. So the indication is positive, but they just wanted to square that up, so that position will be deferred to the next meeting.
There's some risk of appointments.
You call for nominations. Just for clarity, process-wise, when you normally call for nominations, that's a proposal and second for each person. Hopefully not.
There's a list here of current people.
I'm just seeking clarification because from what you said.
The process in previous years has been that the chairman has asked for people who are nominated, and assuming there's no clash, at the very end, we then have a proposer and seconder for the whole lot, and then a vote. That's how it's been done in previous years.
So we're going to go through each.
I'm sorry, what it is for ARC, Sheila Flower is our town council representative for ARC, and it's blank.
Can you tell me what date it is?
Sorry, on my sheet here, the very last one, sorry. I just, be put in.
Would it help if I go through those who are currently elected for each? We can take a vote. If you've got objections, you can raise them at the time.
Would you like me to read the list? I know that list doesn't contain all of them, that's the Conservative members. So if I just confirm at the moment, so on ARC we have Councillor Gilder and Mrs. Sheila Flower. With Berkshire Associated Local Councils, we've got Councillor Kennedy. Citizens Advice Woking, we've got Councillor Lewis. Friends of Woodford Park, we have Councillor Horskins. The Highwood Management Conference, we have Councillors Gilder and Holmes. The Keep Mobile, we have Councillor Gutteridge. The Museum of Berkshire Aviation Trust, we have Councillor Soane.
Stop you there. I'm aware that we don't have a representation on Berkshire Aviation.
That was voted for at a full council meeting. I can't remember whether it was February or December, but it was one of those meetings. It was added, and then your appointment was made.
Well, I spoke to Ken Fosterview, and he said he doesn't have me as a representative of the Woodley Town Council. And I've had no minutes and no correspondence. I understood that we weren't actually at that time putting a representative onto Berkshire Aviation.
We didn't last year, but I know it was added. I'm sure it was on an agenda of full council recently. I'd have to check back to find the exact minutes, but I'm sure it was. So what we can do is we can make sure that they have your details and can make sure they copied it. So we'll just let's carry on. We have Redibus was Councillor Gutteridge, Sonning and District Welfare and Education Trust, Councillor Smith, Woking Borough Parish Working Group was Councillor Kennedy, Woodley Bowling Club Management Committee is Councillor Gilder, and Woodley Volunteer Centre was Councillor Kennedy. We also had a vacant place on Pawsland Charity to serve till 2028, which needs a nomination tonight if anyone wishes to. And we also have a new group on there, which is the Woking Borough Council Town Centre Strategy Working Group that they're setting up, and they've asked for a councillor to be nominated to that as well.
Okay. Well, taking those that have been read out, can we go to a vote that people are happy to leave the nominees as they are at present, and then we go to those that are missing? Okay, all those in favour, please.
16-4.
Any against?
None against.
Abstentions?
No abstentions.
Now, those we need to go for. Pawsland Charity.
Yeah, one place on the Pawsland Charity to serve until 2028.
Right. Do we have any nominations for the vacant space on the Pawsland Charity?
What's the Pawsland Charity?
I'm on the solid one. It's the arms houses.
You'll find out, I mean,
That's very good.
Right, okay. Are all in favour of Charles Bay? Any against? Abstentions? No, we need a nominee for the
No, sorry.
town centre. So, do we have any nominations for the town centre structure? Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to nominate Councillor Neil Stone.
Do we have a seconder for that? Do we have any other nominations for that position? Can we go to the vote? All those in favour of Neil Stone?
16 for.
Any against? Okay, is that the last one? Right. In that case, in addition, we're also asked to note that following people appointed as representatives previously by full council who will continue without the need for reappointment. On the Poor Lads Charity, Councillor Holmes and Gilder were appointed to serve until 2026, and Sheila Flower was appointed to serve until 2028. On the Robert Palmer's Almshouses Charity, myself was appointed to serve until 2028. These are to be noted. Item 14 on the agenda is to appoint bank secretaries for the next municipal year. For clarification, these individuals are only authorised to approve payments and bank transfers on behalf of the council. In the previous municipal year, Councillors Baker, Bragg, Kennedy and Swaddle were appointed secretaries. Does anyone wish to propose a change to these members, or would anyone like to propose retaining these secretaries for the coming year?
Mr. Mayor, if I recall correctly, the internal audit report suggested that more councillors should be involved in the approval of invoices rather than just a limited number of councillors. So I think we ought to take that on board and maybe consider a bigger pool of councillors to be responsible for certifying the accounts for payment.
Thank you.
I would fully endorse that, but the practicalities of what's happened in the past is generally it's David and I who do the lot. So even though we've got 4 names here, and I totally think it's a good idea to have more names, but I request officers to actually distribute around rather than just David and I, because it's almost defeating the object of having multiple to get through.
The internal audit report was to ensure that rotated within the signatories that were authorised. So it wasn't just the same 2, which was, I know Councillor Swaddle hasn't been included at this point as a signatory.
A full list of the checks and transfers made is presented at every S&R committee meeting where questions can be asked. And of course, that is also passed over to the full council where the minutes.
You can certainly ensure that those payment requests and duties are shared between the authorised signatories going forward.
So I would suggest that when the new RFO has started, that's just something on this to-do list.
Okay, sorry. Mr. Mayor, and I'm looking down that end. Would June or Greg be interested? So I think this is not a party political post. It should be for the benefit of the town council. So we ought to make sure that, assuming somebody would be prepared to come and act as a signatory, an easy job, going through 150 pages and putting an initial, no.
Assuming it's just for, it's a sort of governance
Yes.
and audit.
Would you be prepared to be added to?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can I propose
Does
that
that any
we
help?
make a change? So Councillor Taylor becomes a fifth signatory.
I'm happy for you to do it.
You'll only be doing it, June, you'll only be doing it sort of once a quarter, if that, with 5 people, and if it definitely rotates.
Only around more in Woodley than most people. But I'm not at work.
Oh, if you're not at work, June, that's a favour to be called round to the offices to sign.
Us retired people are about more, aren't we?
Is it?
They are nice, they don't bite. Now that we got rid of that.
Seriously, it's about once a week.
That's fine.
10 minutes of your time. Right, okay, so
Need to vote on this.
yeah. So the proposal is that Councillor Anthony Taylor is appointed to the signatories list as an addition. All those in favour?
16-4.
Any against?
Against.
Any abstentions? In that case, we'll go to the right, moving on to item 15 is to receive the minutes of the full council meeting held on the 11th of February 2025. The minutes were included with this agenda and can be seen on page 7. Are there any questions or comments regarding this?
I'm not sure if it actually comes up in item 16, but most of the recent full council meetings, there have been a complaint from several of us about the level of clarity from the recording, people being able to hear. I can't see anything new in this setup here. Maybe there is, it is improved, but I have been told that trying to hear what goes on at this meeting is quite difficult indeed.
Just so that a new system has been purchased and will be installed towards the end of this year.
Councillor Taylor.
I've just got a question on, I think it's 84.4, when we were talking about the risk register, and I'd asked about the fact that we've got gates around the play area in Weevil Park, and it was recorded that the amenities manager would have a look at that. Does that get reported back to leisure, or?
It will be, yes, I'll make sure that it is.
On to leisure, right, thank you.
Anyone else in the comments?
On the private management corporate, it says a new chairman has been appointed, and the chairman is appointed every year. We only have one meeting yearly. And Councillor Jewell has said the extent of the management of Highwood now covers the South Lake area. And she proposed, working on the Borough Council, that the name of the body might be changed to reflect this. Now, South Lake is completely in Woodley. It isn't anything to do with early councillors, obviously on the Highwood Committee. The Highwood Committee was formed purely and simply for Highwood because it is backing on to Early itself. I know Councillor Holmes is very concerned about this because Highwood, South Lake is a South Lake area in Woodley, and therefore I know Councillor Holmes was very concerned and feels that South Lake is Woodley. It's not anything to do with Early. It is owned by Wokingham, we know that, but I have to put the concerns. She said she was very concerned that Early councils would have authority on what to do with a Woodley and South Lake.
I know, I mean, we can follow that up and I'll go and speak to Councillor Gill.
Does any other member of this committee have comments about the Councillor Gill has said? No. Then we'll follow up with the candidates after the meeting. Okay. Are there any other comments at all on those minutes? Assuming that everyone's happy, perhaps we can vote as a correct record. We ask councillors, all those in favour, please raise your hands. All those
15-4, oh, sorry, 16-4.
All those against? Any abstentions? Minutes have been duly approved as a true and correct record from the actions and follow that. Item 16 on the agenda. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the follow-ups on page 25? And we'll move on to the committee. Item 17 is to receive the minutes of the same committee meetings which have taken place since our last forecast meeting. Can I please ask Councillor Stone, who's chairman of the Planning and Community Committee, to present the minutes of that meeting which took place on the 4th of March. Let's set out on page 27 of the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I deliver the minutes of the Planning and Community Committee held on the 4th of March on page 27 to 34. Any questions?
Do any councillors have any questions regarding these minutes? I see Chairman, we are happy with these minutes are noted. Can I please ask Councillor Firmiger as Deputy Chair of the Leisure Committee to present the minutes of the Leisure Services Committee which took place on the 15th of March 25 as set out on page 35 of the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I present the minutes for the Leisure Services Committee held on the 25th of March from pages 35 to 40 of that 25. Any questions on those?
Just on minute 56 actions, I wonder if we could just update that minute to make clear that the sports hall in question that we're talking about now in Weedle Park.
We're kind of looking into the town clerk to help me on that one.
Sorry, yes.
Thank you.
Assuming we are happy with these, then these minutes are noted. Again, can I please ask Councillor Sonar, Chairman of the Committee, the Planning and Community Committee, to present the minutes of that committee that took place on the 1st of April 2025, as set out on page 42.
Planning and Community meeting held on the 1st of April, on pages 45 to 47.
Do any councillors have any questions regarding those minutes?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Can I ask the chairman of the planning committee if he would be so kind? This is minute number 192.1, community speedwalk, and whether he would consider looking at the location in Beechwood Avenue, in particular the straight section of road from Reading Road just beyond the junction with Wood Way, taking in the Chestnuts. I attended a meeting with residents today, and there was deep concern expressed about the speed of vehicles in that particular stretch of road. And whilst I was there, I witnessed many vehicles doing over 30 miles an hour on that straight stretch of Beechwood Avenue. Thank you.
Good question. The speed watch is being dealt with by June Taylor and Councillor Bray. June Taylor is actually chairing that department now, are you? Is it?
It's
Yeah.
Actually, it's on the list. I've got, it's a bit of a palaver getting a location, but yeah, it's certainly on the list, so I'll have a look at that.
The main thing to consider, there's a lot of restrictions laid down by the police as to where you can actually locate a camera for operation. Once a suitable location is found, application has to be made to the police for permission to use that area. Then you've got a limited time that you can use it. It's got to be between the hours of sunrise and sunset. So, whereas a lot of speeding takes place later in the evening, often the speed watch can't operate.
Just to sort of clarify that, so the most difficult bit I found actually in finding locations is that you have to have, well, it has to be safe for the people operating it, and the police are very sort of exercised about that. And that's actually one of the biggest constraints, finding a piece of straight road where firstly you can sight the camera, and then also where you've got an exit route. But actually I've had a look at Beechwood because my brother lives down there, and I think there are possibilities of, you know, places you could do that. It's a matter of just going through and measuring it all.
Having said that, it's very good if all councillors can feed back any location where residents think there is speeding going on. Quite often, as you found, June, it's not speeding, it's the type of car being used that gives the impression by its noise that it's speeding. When we did the data thing going back 2018-19, most speeding took place after the hours of sunset, which was point one. Secondly, a lot of the cars were going at closer to 35 miles an hour or under, rather than the impression we have that they're doing 40. But
so just to clarify that as well, because again, you'd think, wouldn't it, if you're going over 30 in a 30-mile zone, that was an issue, but not under community speed watch. There's a sort of percentage, and so in a 30-mile zone, you have to be going over 35 before we can report it. So, I mean, we haven't done an awful lot of sessions, but the ones we've done, I think we've had 2 cars speeding in different areas. But again, I think there's no harm in setting it up and trying it, and certainly Beechwood as I say, because I have a brother that lives there, it is at different times of the day, particularly the weekends actually. If you can get their toe down there.
I was just going to clarify for anyone, any councillor who isn't aware, there is also if people have access to the internet on our website, there is the ability to highlight a location for Speedwatch that has all the information about what is allowed and what is permitted and where they can be, and people can provide their details. That gets sent through to Councillor Taylor to then be added to the list for review. So if anyone isn't aware of that and a resident complaint, that is available for them to raise places if they think that we should do that.
Speed bumps, traffic calming, speed bumps, that's all.
The car park charges, I wondered if anybody had anything to add. They've got the new car park charges on the car parking meters today, but I couldn't see anything for Woodley, and I just wondered if anybody had any information on what was happening. They've got car park charges for Wokingham and all the way down, but maybe I missed it and I couldn't see it.
Is that in relation to the adjourned meeting?
Yes, planning, community issues it's for.
Oh, right, sorry.
Right, it's Wokingham Borough Council introduced additional car park charges.
I'm not aware.
I want to talk about that much.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. Just to clarify, we have two pieces of kit. We've had it for a long time. One of which is the piece of kit that Julian and David were talking about, which is the camera that actually captures people who are speeding, it captures their registration number, and that's used as the data to initially send a flag off a letter of warning, and they keep doing it, they'll get done. The other piece of equipment that really hasn't come out yet, which I'm a little bit disappointed, but I know June is working her socks off on this, is what we call a data logger. It goes up on a lamppost set for 7 days, and it is running 24 hours a day. It's very similar to, you know, the little rubber strips you have? That's the same thing. And you can monitor what the speeds are 24 hours a day. You can monitor whether it's a motorbike, a scooter, a small car, a medium car, a 4x4, a trailer, a HGV, etc. And when we first started doing it, that went in first, and that actually gave you the data to say yes or no, is there an issue? And that then means this issue of not being able to do anything overnight is in essence gone away. So that's what was used before you went into the second stage, because if it came up and said everything's fine, you know, generally there's a few people, but on average it's not speeding. We didn't go to the second step of having cameras and tying things up. Because it hasn't been used for a long, long time, so nothing to do with June, it's nothing to do with David. It's been dormant for such a long time. I have lots of praise for June for spending a lot of time on this and getting it out and running. But it's still there waiting.
Yeah. Let's say that maybe it doesn't make claims, but that's the piece of equipment I was referring to when I spoke about the speed of the plant out of operational hours.
So I don't think I missed what Kay was talking about. I thought, Kay, you were referring to the community issue on here around car parking charges, and I actually raised that at that planning meeting. I was supposed to be standing up on time, sorry. And really, what it was about is that you remember, I mean, there was stuff in the local press, and in fact, I think to Borough, they were looking at a number of other new places to raise car parking charges. And I mean, there was quite a lot of activity around that. And I did get a response back from the borough saying there are no plans to apply charges in Ashbury Park, because that's what we want. But our understanding was that if they change their mind at some point, that could happen in this executive committee. So it wouldn't be kind of ventilated, it would just be, right, this is happening. And so all we were asking in our committee was that we contact the borough and say, if you're planning to do this, or even thinking about it, can you tell us in advance? Because it just seemed a bit arbitrary that you could wake up one morning and you've got car parking times in Ashbury Park. So that's what that was about. I mean, whether we had a response from the borough, I don't know, but at least we've asked.
Do we have any more questions on the planning committee? No? Then, assuming we're happy with those, the minutes are noted. Can I please ask Councillor Baker as chair of the committee to present the minutes of the strategy and resources committee, which took place on the 22nd of April, as set out on page 49 of the agenda. These minutes include one recommendation made by the committee for consideration at this meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I refer to the minutes on page 49, 78. We do have one minute 89, which is to do with the youth service strategy. We SNR approved it. It now needs to be ratified here. So, Mr. Chairman, I would think if we could do that, and then I'll throw it open for any questions. Minute 89.
Right, yeah, we need to vote on this. The full council approved the service strategy 25-30 as set out in appendix
Yes.
Page 65. New strategy meetings, page 65 through to 69. Can I please take a vote? All those in favour of accepting the updated youth strategy?
16 for.
Any against?
No against.
Any abstentions?
No abstention.
Thank you. Right, do you want to continue presenting those minutes?
Yes, before I very open for any questions on the minutes, I'd just like to draw your attention to minute number 99 from the Personnel Subcommittee. There's been some significant changes and our communications manager, she's been given a wider remit, strategic and tactical. This is all really being driven by trying to raise our level of quality and professionalism from our marketing effort, allied to what we're doing with the theatre, allied to what we're doing with the new area outside the cafe, etc. I think it's a great move. I think it will be stretching for individuals concerned, but this council has got a long record of giving opportunity and stretching people. But yet, it's working incredibly well. So I'm very pleased on that. To do with that, there's appendix F, you don't need to read it now. Also, the other thing I want to pull out is the budget setting process that we've got coming. So I think start June, July time frame, I encourage every single one of you to, when consultations come out, get your residents to participate, get your family and friends to participate, get your dog to participate, or whatever. This is quite unique in the borough. I'm very keen for it to be successful. So please, please put your weight behind it and get people, if you're a member of a community group, get them, and they're in Woodley, get them to respond, etc. Thank you. So if there's any questions or queries,
Councillor Jones.
Thank you. Item number 95, the Oakwood Centre frontage. There are cycle racks outside the front. I use regularly, there are 10 meetings. It would be great if we could find the money to put a shelter on top of those bike racks. There's only one set of cycle racks that have a shelter in the whole of Woodley, and that's outside Sportmore Centre. None of the shopping centre racks provide any shelter at all. It's quite nice to go out and not get a wet saddle to sit on, and I appreciate if we could look into that. I don't think it would involve huge costs. The racks are there, we just need
Thank you very much, Councillor Jewell, for that. I think it's a great idea. It's very opportune when there's going to be a lot of work out there. It's an ideal time to do that. So we got the nod from the town clerk to see what we have to do to add that to it. Thank you.
I was talking about Weevil Park, and we spoke about the funding for a project to see how feasible it would be to have equipment and so forth. I've seen London 26 what Lee's application with the council. Is there sort of an update on project for that?
Yes, I have been in touch with the portfolio manager at Reading Borough Council. They are drafting the terms of someone that document to arrive, so there's an agreement to do it. So they're working on that document.
Do you have any other questions? Then, assuming we're all happy, these minutes are noted. Thank you. Finally, again, can I please ask Councillor Stone, as chairman of the community committee, to have the minutes of that committee which took place on the 29th of April 25. So, it's not even one get to the answer.
Haven't got. Have you got? That's the night for the last one. Oh, wait a minute, sorry, I do apologise. Right. See, I present the minutes of the meeting held on the 29th of April 2025, pages 79 to page 1676. I didn't check that meeting. It was actually Councillor Bragg chair.
Do we have any questions at all? No? Assuming we are happy with these minutes and notes. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to item 18, is to note the report of the annual town meeting subcommittee meetings, which took place on the 25th of March 2025. Councillor Anderson is the chairman of this committee. Would you like to update members?
No, that's been incorrectly photocopied on the cream paper, so it's on the end of the planning agenda. If you're struggling to find it.
Page 85.
Yes, just like to present it on page 85 for your reference, it's on the 25th of March. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions? No. Then those minutes are noted. Item 19 on the agenda is to note report FC 325 on page 87 of the agenda, which provides an update on the budgetary position following the end of the financial year. Does anyone have any questions at all from that? Councillor Connolly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to preface what I'm about to say by extending a thanks to the Town Clerk for the opportunity. We had a discussion last week about the budgets, about my understanding of terminology, which he's taken on board, trying to change things from earmarked reserves, capital expenditure, etc. So thank you very much for that. The risk of encountering the wrath of Robert Horskins, who's listening in, because he tore me off a strip last time I raised this question, but this is a different question, Robert. I'm looking at the report and the figures shown in the budget for S&R, which show 1,444,797. Now, when a similar figure was reported to S&R on the 22nd of April, 3 weeks ago, that figure was 1,343,297. So a difference of £101,500. Why? Similarly, the income figure that's shown in the report for S&R shows £524,302 end of year, and yet in the paper to S&R committee, the figure is 450,485. Why? And thirdly, the expenditure for S&R shown in the report is 1,553,895. And yet in the report to S&R committee on the 22nd of April, the figure is 1,270,077. Why? And lastly, in the report itself, under net expenditure, this equates to net expenditure of minus £202. I think that's possibly a typo, and perhaps the officers could explain what that is. And then, just to recap what I said at the beginning, the use of terminology, I'm getting very confused, but when we have funds received in respect of land at Silver Fox Crescent, 70,000, I think we ought to make it clear to members that this is capital expenditure, not revenue. And also, when it says funds released to the general reserve for earmarked reserves, well, are we talking about earmarked reserves for capital expenditure, earmarked reserves revenue, and what is the purpose? These are things that I think members will have a better understanding in their overall knowledge of finance if, and I know that the Town Clerk has taken my comments on board. We hope to see a clearer picture of our budgets moving forward. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Can I just, before the Town Clerk, the only comment that I think are good questions. Michael and Benny had a conversation asked the questions. I think it's good. The only thing I was going to say, funds released in the general reserve from earmarked reserves. We used to actually have earmarked reserves all detailed, all itimised, so you knew precisely what it was all about. With a changeover with the system, correct me if I'm wrong, with the change of the new system, with the change of the RFO, etc., they seem to have been dropped off from the documentation that we had at SR, and the documentation we have here, the detail of that. So that's all I want to just let you know that it was there before, that sort of level detail for earmarked reserves. So I think it is important for people to understand, for instance, the 3G pitch Okay, we know that we have to repair that pitch, I think it's 25 years, isn't it? Something like that, period. So rather than wait until the end of 25 years and suddenly say, God, we've got to find 150,000, we put money away in earmark reserve to cover that cost. So that's really the basics. And I think it's important that people understand that we are planning, or the council is planning for the future costs, things like the Oakwood Centre, leisure centres, the Carnival Hall, etc.
Yeah, thank you. Just a quick one, just in relation to the 3G pitch, that's a 10-year turnaround. But just to note, the intention is to provide that information in the year going forwards. So what I will be doing for strategy and resources meetings forwards is that earmarked reserve breakdown with a commentary against those things for reference, because actually, unless you remember what they are, you wouldn't know that. So we will be providing that going forwards. In relation to the figures that Councillor Kennedy has just stated, I'll need to obviously investigate that, see what the difference is, and recirculate that report to everybody with a chance to look back at the numbers.
I wouldn't want to state specifically. I'd like to look at those numbers to have a look and find exactly, obviously, and that is one reason we ask people to send. If you do have a group before a meeting, we can find that and provide you that information at the meeting. What I do know is there were a couple of payments. There was payments in year that were made which were not budgeted for. One of those payments was, I think, there was a first payment on a loan, I think, that went back, but because it wasn't budgeted for in the SNR budget figures, it completely skews the figures to SNR. So there were a couple of figures that were removed to make that clearer in SNR, which definitely are accounting for this. It would just they're separate, whereas these figures are the total end of year figures for the whole council. But we'll definitely be able to look into those exact and find those and get that detail.
Just to note also, in terms of those earmarked reserves, we'll make that very clear which are the capital ones, which are capital receipts, which are.
Sorry, just one little comment on that as well. I think, Mike's point is just trying to make this more transparent and understandable to, finance for dummies, really. But speaking for myself, but also that we are undertaking this exercise of consulting with our community, and obviously the clearer we can make this to be work better, the fact that we appear to have several biscuit tins of money in various places and purposes, it would be nice to put a label against that so people know what we're doing.
Absolutely, and I think that is very welcome. We are changing the way that we present that information. We want to give you what you need to.
Just to clarify as well, these figures have never been presented an end of year figure against budget and against revised estimates before to this council. So normally you get your financial statements at the end of the year in June. This never gets reported again after the budget setting process in February. So the purpose of this is to try and give you a clearer picture of where the council is at now compared to January. So as Kevin said, any feedback we get is helpful to improve and continue.
Any further questions? At all? No. 19B on the agenda is for members simply to note that authorised bank signatories have checked and signed the council's bank reconciliations up to the 31st of March 2025. Item 20, the next item on the agenda, is to receive a statement from the leader of the council, Councillor Baker. Would you like to make a statement?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, quite brief. First of all, I would like to pay a tribute to the outgoing Mayor, Councillor Julia Anderson. He's carried out her task with the highest level of professionalism, but also with the right level of humility. He will be a hard act to follow, but I know David will rise to the occasion during his year of office. I wanted to give my most heartfelt thanks to Juliet from both a personal basis and on behalf of all Woodley residents. I also would like to welcome Councillor Darren Smith, who's been voted into the role of Deputy Mayor. I've known Darren for many, many years in many different roles, both inside politics and outside of politics. I've even actually trod the boards with him with the Namdram Society, and I know he'll do a good job for standing in for David, if David actually will allow him to stand in. Somehow I think there's not going to be many opportunities now David. As we move into a new financial year, I'd like to just briefly reflect on the previous 12 months. Collectively, we have achieved quite a lot during that period. However, one particular achievement should be highlighted, and that is around the council tax levy. From the moment my group took control in 2013, Woodley Town Council had the unhelpful accolade of being the most expensive town or parish council. The other officers and my group have worked extremely hard to remove that mood. All that hard work has finally paid off, so that another town/parish council charges more than us. So we are no longer the most expensive parish/town council in the borough. And the good news doesn't stop there. Looking towards next year, we have major investments planned for the Oakwood Centre Cafe and the theatre. We will also start what I believe is the first in the borough, a major exercise on engagement with residents on the budget for 2026-27. Obviously, this will lead directly to what happens with the council tax bill in that year. These are exciting times, and I hope all councillors will fully embrace all of these actions. My last comment on this past year is about attendance of all councillors at any council meetings. Over the last 6 months, there has been a marked drop in attendance at these meetings from all political parties. Some councillors not even sent their apologies, which is actually rude. Several councillors have been excellent in sending their apologies, and I thank them for that. Remember, residents bother to come out and vote for you to represent them here at this town council. You cannot do that if you do not turn up. So please, can everyone redouble their efforts to attend as many of the committees you serve on? No, we recognise you can't make every single one. Send your apologies. The residents deserve that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Right, agenda item 21 is to receive the written report set out in appendix 21 on page 94 of the agenda. This is relating to outside bodies. Do we have any additional verbal reports from town council representatives on the outside bodies? There are 3 others that were put on a separate sheet.
I'm sorry, I'm on the Problems Management Committee, and they changed secretary and the last 3 meetings they have not told me about. So they have apologised because it was a purely administration because over the winter there isn't much going on in the halls. I'd like to make the next one.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions at all on those reports? No? Move on. Item 22 relates to the town mayor's engagements. Since our last meeting, the events that have taken place are set out on page 22 on page 103 of the agenda. Are there any comments you'd like to is anything to your?
I think that just the music and arts was it's a wonderful, it's a good couple of weeks, but it's really busy, and I would urge more councillors to come. The kids absolutely loved having. We sort of shared it. We did quite a few each, but the kids loved having people here that were different or were introduced. So I think next year we really need to do a bit of a push to get more people involved in it. But it just come to one session, it's only sort of half an hour, but it, you know, it was really good.
I mean, I actually attended two of them myself. One was the woodwind instrument. To see the young 10, 11-year-olds playing the bassoon is that much higher than the young child playing it. They were magnificent. And also the vocal section, which was in the theatre, that was very, very good indeed, with 6 individuals singing songs from stage musicals. It was a lovely evening, and some of the songs they sang were very difficult for you to sing. I think the Woodley Schools Cluster Bake Off Challenge deserves comment as well. Well, the 3 of us here is Keith, myself, and Charles Bay, all present. We could have demolished those cakes between us, couldn't we? Yeah, it was to see the cakes these children came up with. They were tasty, they were very, very well designed. How they did it, I do not know, but we managed to eat it. And also, I went to the Sikh Vashiki dinner last Saturday, and what an evening. Jenny got up dancing, and it was a picture. No, it was a very, very good evening, and I thank all your community, Parvinder, for having us there.
Thank you very much, because my wife been to the party, and they celebrate the Vaisakhi, and everyone, they have given really good support from all of communities and councils, and thank you so much. Thanks for your
thank you for inviting us. Right, item 23. Future agenda items. Does anybody have any items that they wish to be included in the agenda? Item 24. Anybody, any items that they wish to be publicised?
Suggest that the new role of the publicity /events manager, it might be really helpful to get a bit of a report from them going forward around what their plans are and how they're going to manage that, because that would be an ideal place to get a bit of a feedback.
Yeah, no, that's really true. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, at 9:42, I call an end to this meeting.